Namah Shivaya. Shivji Sada Sahaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Guruji Sada Sahaya. Jai Guruji. Shiv Puran Mahatam, Chapter 1. Greatness of Shiv Puran. Shaunakji said, O sooth of great intellect, O my Lord, the knower of all philosophical principles, please narrate to me the essence of Puran in detail. How do good conduct, a good devotion, and power of discrimination flourish? How are base feelings dispelled by good men? In this terrible Kali Yuga, all living beings have almost become demonic in character. What is that effective mode of remedying the same? Now tell me about the greatest means to achieve the most perfect weal, the holiest of the holy modes. What is that, the practice of which particularly purifies the soul? What is that which enables a man of unsullied mind to attain Shiva? Suji said, O foremost among sages, you are blessed indeed, as you are desirous of hearing. Hence, I shall ponder over the greatest of the sacred lore intelligently and tell you. O dear, listen to that divine panacea evolved out of all religious tenets, heightening true devotion and conducive to the pleasure of Shiva. It is destructive of the great fear of Python of Kal, that is death. O sage, it is the noble Shivpuran, formerly narrated by Shiv himself. For the benefit of the people in the age of Kali Yuga, the sage Vyasji has abridged it out of great respect for the sage Sanat Kumar on being instructed by him. O sage, there is nothing other than Shiv Puran for the purification of the mind, especially of people of Kali Yuga. It is only the intelligent and highly fortunate men who have accumulated great merits in their previous birth who will be drawn towards Shiv Puran. This Shiv Puran is the greatest and the noblest of the sacred lore. It is the form of Shiva, and as such, it is to be served and realized in this world. By reading this and listening to it, the good man becomes very pious. By all means, he instantly attains Shiva's region. Hence, every endeavor of men to read this is desirable. Loving care to listen to it yields all desired results. By listening to this Puran of Shiv, a man becomes sinless. After enjoying all extensive worldly pleasures, he will attain the region of Shiva. Merely by listening to the story of Shiva, a man accrues that merit which results from the performance of Rajasuya and 100 of Agnistomas. O sage, those who listen to Shiv Puran, the noblest of the sacred lore, cease to be mere human beings. They must be undoubtedly considered as manifestations of Rudra, a form of Shiva. Sages consider the dust in the feet of those who habitually listen to that Puran and recite it, on par with holy centers. May those who wish to attain the seat of salvation listen always to the holy Shiv Puran with great devotion. O noblest among sages, if he is unable to listen to it always, let him hear it for a short while every day with his mind fully controlled. If anyone is unable to listen to it every day, O sage, let him listen to Shiv Puran in the holy months. Those who listen to that Puran, even for a Mahurat, that is for 48 minutes, half that period, one fourth of that period, or even for a moment, will not suffer from mishaps. O Lord of sages, the man who listens to this Puran crosses the ocean of worldly existence after burning the great forest of karma. O sage, the merit that accrues from all gifts and all sacrifices becomes finally stabilized after listening to Shiv Puran. Particularly in the age of Kali Yuga, there is no greater virtue conducive to the achievement of liberation by men, O sage, than listening to Shiv Puran. There is no doubt in this that listening to Puran and reciting the names of Shiva is as efficacious as the kalpa tree in yielding one's desires. For the benefit of evil minded persons of Kali Yuga, bereft of virtuous conduct, Lord Shiva has produced the nectar in the form of Shivpuran. A single man, the man who drinks nectar, becomes immortal and unaging. But the nectar of the divine story of Shiva, if drunk, makes the whole family immortal and unaging. The sanctifying story of Shiv Puran must always be resorted to. Definitely so. Merely by listening to Shiv Puran, if such good results, what am I to say about the result when Shiva abides in the heart? This work consists of 24,000 verses divided into 7 samhitas, that is, compendium. The three kinds of devotion, that is, by meditation, by recital of prayers, and the acts of worship and service, are fully explained in it. It must be listened to with great respect. The first compendium is called Vidvesvara Samhita, the second is known as Rudra Samhita, third is Sat Rudra, and fourth is Koti Rudra. The fifth compendium is called Uma Samhita, the sixth is Kailash Samhita, and seventh is Vyavya. Thus, there are 7 Samhitas in this Puran. This divine Puran of 7 Samhitas are called after Shiva stands on equal footing with Brahman, that is Vedic texts, and accords an achievement that is superior to everything else. He who reads the entire Shiv Puran without omitting any of the 7 Samhitas can be called Jivamukt or a living liberated soul. O sage, the ignorant man is tossed about in the ocean of worldly existence till the excellent Shiv Puran reaches his ears. Of what avail is listening to many sacred texts and other confounding Puranas? The Shiv Puran alone loudly proclaims to grant salvation. The house where the discourse on this Shiv Puran is held becomes a holy center. It destroys the sins of inmates of the house. Thousands of horse sacrifices do not merit even a 16th part of Shiv Puran. O best of sages, a sinner is called a sinner till the moment he hears Shiv Puran with great devotion. The holy rivers, Ganga and others, and the 7 sacred cities and Gaya can never be equal to Shiv Puran. If one wishes for the greatest of the goals or liberation, one shall recite at least a stanza or even half of it from Shiv Puran. He who constantly listens to Shiv Puran, fully comprehending its meaning, or simply reads it with devotion, is undoubtedly a meritorious soul. Lord Mahesh, that is Shiva, is extremely pleased with the sensible man who listens to Shiv Puran when death is imminent. Lord Shiva accords him a seat in his own region. He who adores this Shiv Puran with great devotion enjoys in this world all the desired objects and attains Shivlok. Never slack in his devotion to Shiv Puran. He who keeps this work well wrapped in a silk cloth will ever be happy. The holy Shiv Puran, the sole possession of a devotee of Shiva, should assiduously be resorted to by a person who desires for happiness here and hereafter. The holy Shiv Puran that accords the 4 aims of life, that is, virtue, wealth, love, and salvation, must be heard and read with great devotion always. The Shiv Puran, the greatest harbinger of the perfect welfare among the Vedas, Itihas, and other sacred texts, must be thoroughly understood by those who seek salvation. This Shiv Puran is the greatest resort of the knowers of Atma forever. It is the noblest object worthy of adoration of good men. It suppresses the 3 types of distress, that is, physical illness, extraneous attacks, and divine calamities. It accords happiness always, and it is very pleasing to all devas, led by Brahma, Hari, and Ish. With the mind extremely delighted, I bow unto Shiv Puran forever. May Shiva be pleased and bestow on me a devotion